Well, thankfully, I don't do some type of weekly pick against the Schleg Daddy contest because if I did, I'd have been paying out the nose and through the ass for week 3. Holy hell. I had better odds last week trying to score with a white woman. Good lord. Oh, my goodness. I was just looking at my sheet here, and no, I'm not sitting there looking down at my crotch and smiling because let's be realistic. Who the hell does that, anyways? Maybe some of you weirdos. 7-9 picking winners. 3-13 against the spread. 3-13 against the spread. You win some, you lose some. But we're going to put that in the rearview mirror. Week 4 is a new week. New week. Even though I already started off with an L. At least I'll say this. That was a strategic L. I was feeling the vibe of the Jeff Jinx for Thursday night. So if I pick the Packers, the way things are going right now, the Eagles are destined to win, which helps me in a different way. And that's exactly what happened. So it was a strategic L, but an L nonetheless. What are you going to do? I don't think I've picked the Thursday night game right this year yet. So, hell, let's keep the good hits roll. Let's see if we can go over for the year on Thursday night games. Anyways, got to do better than last week. Let's see if I can get the job done, though. The early Sunday games, the Titans at 1-2 travel to Atlanta to take on the also 1-2 Falcons. Losing Keanu O'Neal for the year most certainly will not help. When you look at this game, the Tennessee Titans, the team you thought maybe they had a decent chance in the division, and to be fair, maybe they still do. They really, really need this game. Both teams really, really need this game because you can make the argument the team that loses this game, their season may potentially be over. There is really no reason to feel confident about picking either team in this case. Even if you say, well, Atlanta's favored by 3.5 and they're at home, that's true, but who the hell knows? Just because I'm trying to make up some ground here, what the hell? I'll go Tennessee plus a 3.5 for the win. Marquee matchup this early in the season is kind of surprising. The Patriots at 3-0 travel to Buffalo to take on the 3-0 Bills. Yeah. A marquee matchup in week 4 featuring the Patriots and the Bills. Tom Brady versus Josh Allen. Yeehaw! With all the dust starting to settle on the Antonio Brown saga and that being in the rearview mirror, the Patriots can focus on being the Patriots. I'm sorry, the hits have got to keep on rolling here. Even though they didn't cover the spread last week against the Jets due to a couple of defensive touchdowns, I'm going to take the Patriots minus the 7. The Chiefs travel to Detroit to take on the Lions as 7-point favorites. You look at the Chiefs right now, they're 3-0. They're rolling offensively. Mahomes is putting up MVP level, special level, all-time great level numbers again this year. And you look at the Lions on the flip side of that, they're 2-0-1. They are just kind of scrapping along and finding ways to win. They have back-to-back quality wins over the Chargers and the Eagles after that week 1 tie to the Cardinals. They're at home. You look at this and you would say, well, the Chiefs should be able to go in there and handle business because Matthew Stafford traditionally does not do well against good teams. And that largely is true, which is why I'm picking the Chiefs to win. But 7 points on the road is a lot. And this Detroit team's kind of scrappy right now, even when they've tried to find Lions ways to Lions it up. So I think Detroit can cover the 7-point spread. The Raiders travel to Indianapolis to take on a Colts team that's 6.5-point favorite, sitting at 2-1 behind Jacoby Brissett, whereas the Raiders, coming off of a drubbing last week, 34-14 against the Vikings, I'll take the Colts minus the 6.5. The Chargers travel to Miami to take on the woeful, hapless Miami Dolphins. Yeehaw. The spread in this game is only 14. And maybe that's just in large part because the Chargers are sitting at 1-2 off the back-to-back tough losses. I think they're going to go in there, take their medicine, hand out some lumps. I will take the Chargers minus the 14. The Redskins at 0-3 travel to New York to take on a Giants team that's found life now. They've got Daniel Jones. They've found a way to win last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in spite of their really bad defense. Looking at this matchup, if the Redskins lose this game, or even if they're losing in this game in the second half, you have to go to Dwayne Haskins. You cannot continue this fool's folly. Watch these idiots, though, sit there and try to buy time until it's Colt McCoy time. And if that happens, then everybody involved in that organization needs to be fired. In this case, the Giants have a little bit of momentum. Daniel Jones has a little bit of confidence. So I'm going to roll with them. Give me the Giants minus the 3. The Browns travel to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Ravens coming off their loss to the Chiefs last week, whereas the Browns come off of that Sunday night loss to the Rams. Looking at this matchup, Baltimore as 7-point favorites seems a bit rich, if I'm being honest here. I know the Browns have looked like doo-doo the first 3 weeks of the year, and the Ravens came back and made it closer against the Chiefs on Sunday. But divisional games like this, two young quarterbacks, that's an awfully big spread. And again, I got to make up some ground somewhere. I got to take some chances. So if it blows up in my face, so be it. I will take the Browns to win plus the 7. The Panthers behind Kyle Allen traveled to Houston to take on Deshaun Watson and the Texans. Give me the Texans minus the 4. The late Sunday slate. You got the Buccaneers traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. I will take the Rams minus the 9. The Seahawks travel to Arizona to take on the winless Cardinals. You got Russell Wilson versus Kyler Murray. The Seahawks coming off of that bad home loss last week against the Saints. The final score not an indication of just how thoroughly they were dominated in all facets of the game. The Arizona Cardinals, they got to win a game at some point in time, you would figure. I don't think it's this week. I'll pick the Seahawks to win, but I will take the Cardinals to cover the 5-point spread. The Vikings travel to Chicago to take on the Bears in a battle of 201 NFC North teams. This is a key matchup for both because they've already lost to Green Bay here early in the regular season. You lose this game, you go to 2-2. You're a game behind the Packers, plus the Packers currently would have the tiebreaker over you, where at least if you're 3-1, the Packers only have the tiebreaker on you, and that's it. And looking at this matchup, it's going to be a battle of Dalvin Cook against that stout Bears run defense. It's going to be a battle of Matt Nagy's brains and trying to stick with damn run against Mike Zimmer's D. Bears are at home. Got some confidence off of last week's win, I would think. I'll take the Bears minus the 1.5. The Jaguars behind Gardner Minshew travel to Denver to take on the Broncos. The Gardner Minshew story continues. But I think for 1 week, comes to a bit of an end here. Give me the Broncos to get their first win under head coach Vic Fangio minus the 2.5. The Sunday night game should be a good one, we hope, even though it doesn't feature Drew Brees. The Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, and all the crew travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Dallas is currently slated as a 2-point favorite. Part of the reason the spread is so low is there's probably more money on New Orleans than you would have anticipated based off of the performance they had on the road last week against the Seahawks. But then again, maybe the Seahawks just aren't as good of a football team as you might believe. When you look at this Cowboys team right now, they are rolling. They are constructed well. They are a legit contender. And as a result, I've got to take the Cowboys to win here, even in the Superdome minus the 2. And then the Monday night game. Is anybody going to watch this? I got to choose between this and Raw. And believe me, there are no winners in that equation. 2 0-3 teams, 2 bad teams, 2 teams that are in the market for a top 5 pick right now, even though the Steelers aren't because they traded theirs away for a defensive back. As a result, I think the Steelers have more to play for because they got to make themselves look better for making the Minka deal by not losing every damn game. They're at home. Give me the Steelers minus the 3. I just hope to heavens, hope to God, that week 4 is going to be better than week 3. It has to. It has to be, doesn't it? It has to be!